Hello, this is Michael Connolly. I'm the director of Odyssey Training Center, and I'm here today with Dr. Marjorie Lewis because we want to introduce ourselves to you, the prospective students here at Odyssey. Dr. Lewis has been in the field for over 30 years. I've known Marjorie for over 20, and it's been my pleasure to have had the opportunity to work with her over the years, and now to have Marjorie at one of our key trainers at Odyssey Training Center. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Marjorie Lewis. Hi, Marjorie. Will you say hello to everybody?
Hi, Michael, and hello to everyone. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share insights with you about the learning experiences at Odyssey.
Well, great. Well, the first question I have for you, just so people get to know you, and it's a big one, so I know it's going to have to be brief, is what got you into this work in the first place? What got you started those many years ago?
I noticed that a lot of us in the field didn't grow up saying, I'm going to be an addictions counselor. We've evolved into the field. It wasn't in relation to behavior modification. It wasn't my first endeavor. It started out as a marriage and family therapist or pursuing that credential and working with children. But what I realized as time went on, issues associated with compulsive behavior, at-risk usage, addictive behavior, not limited to alcohol and other drugs, but still out of control behavior, nevertheless, is a key component in relation to family disruption, couple disruption, and so it sort of evolved. I used to say devolved, but the reality is when you look at the big picture, at-risk behavior is a major issue, especially when we talk about compulsive consumption.
Okay, well, great. So seeing that you felt like you really needed to do more around this specific issue of addictions, which I'm really grateful for. So today, I know that, things have continued to evolve in your career and you've done many, many things. So just real briefly, what are you doing today?
Well, today I am publishing books. I've been around on the earth for a while, so there is a lot of information that has been gathered. The books that I write now, two of them are published. One is in review right now, and they deal with resilience, and that's a concept that has been named, and I'm appreciative of that name. The ability to stay the course or get back on course as soon as possible. So I'm doing a lot of writing about resilience, and I do clinical supervision more than I ever have, helping people to get the credentials that they need relative to behavior modification. And more than 75% of people that I have not only supervised, but mentored or discipled have actually created their own facilities in relation to behavior modification. So, helping navigate people through the system, finding out what they want, and trying to match opportunities with that.
Wow. Well, that is fantastic because we all know I needed help, you needed help navigating through the system. And that's fantastic that you're available and mentoring people and successfully helping them get through the system.
Well, I do want to say this, Michael. You are a role model for me in relation to that piece of it. You probably recall when I first started out, you were one of my faculty.
Yes,
You
I
actually played a
do.
major role. I'm talking for many courses. And just watching people like you, a couple of others too, but at this point, people like you just easily showing people where to go, what to do, what to know in relation to getting started has been invaluable in relation to this process. It's all
Well,
about mentoring.
Well, thanks for that, Marjorie. I appreciate that feedback. So, I kind of want to shift gears a little bit and talk more about our students. And, you have a tremendous wealth of experience. And so, again, you could go on for a long time with any of these questions, but why is the CAC training so important? What are some of the key things that it helps prepare students for their future career so they can actually be effective and really help the struggling addict and alcoholic?
Mhm. Well, one of the things in relation to the certified addiction training, whether it's technician, specialist, or as a licensed individual, as well as now the peer support, the clinical case management,
Hmm.
helping people change their behavior, behavior modification. That to me is universal. And I always let students know we're explicitly addressing at-risk substance use, but this spills over into a lot of out-of-control behavior, eating addictions, and I'm not talking about eating disorders,
Hmm.
shopping addiction, and
Hmm.
others. So just helping individuals relative to facilitating behavior change, seeing behavior change as a process, not an event, and also helping students tap into what they want to do and then helping them sort of navigate where they want to be. And the goals and objectives are as diverse as the number of people in the field. And that's what I find intriguing also.
That was very well said. I think that's a big part. People
Mhm.
come into the field and there's so many different directions they can go in and areas they can specialize in. And what's
Yeah.
their niche?
Mhm.
Where do I fit in this big picture of things? So that's wonderful that you're able to help students move through that and find their way.
And
And
a
again,
lot of times they don't know, and they don't know when they found it. So it's like, okay, I know you don't know what you want to do yet. Here's how it's going to feel when you do find it.
great. That's a good heads up for people.
Uh-huh.
And then the last question, because this is intended to be very short. So the last question we have is, um, in your experience, what helps students get the most out of a CAC training? So, your trainer. Say I'm a student and I'm going to be taking a class with you. What would help me get the most out of that class with you, Marjorie?
Well, I always tell students that if they want to prepare for the class, BHA now, or OBH or DBH or ADEB, they've always had, or not always, but for a significant period of time, they've had listings of the classes, summaries of the classes in relation to the protocols. Treat it like you would an academic experience. Look at that protocol, read through it, consider some of the references, do a little preparation before you actually come to the class, because that helps students not come to the class cold. And
Yeah.
so that's the first piece that I always look at in relation to emphasizing a student's capacity. Prepare. And I think BHA makes it helpful because they have all of the classes. I also suggest to students read that handbook for counselors as soon as possible. And Robin Oakes, in relation to Odyssey, take that orientation class. See, because if you do those things, you come in with a foundation. I'm
Yes.
not going to say it's that firm, but at least it's beginning to gel as opposed to coming in cold, relative to that piece.
Yes, well, that's a great tip, Marjorie, and I hope students are listening and they follow that and they prepare because they really, as a student, you really will get much more out of each class if you just follow the tips that Marjorie just gave you.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to wrap this up, Marjorie, at this
Mm-hmm.
point. I want to thank you so much for your time. It's really been my pleasure and an honor to have Marjorie Lewis training at Odyssey. She brings an experience and perspective that, well, I don't think can be matched by any other instructor in the field. So, those students who are lucky enough to take some classes with Marjorie, you are going to get a valuable education that will help you in your careers. So, thanks again, and goodbye, Marjorie.
It's been an honor.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.